welcome everybody. It's another Friday night with the fabulous Asea 5. As you know, we have our regulars, me, Dr. Hayes from Galveston, Texas, as well as Jim and Ann Glenn from San Antonio, Texas. Jim is our man, and Ann is our nutritionist and personal trainer. And of course, we have the illustrious Dr. Lee Osler from Washington State, best-selling author, and also today was on the airwaves. Next thing you know, he'll be directing movies. So he's just unbelievable, talented in so many ways and so brilliant. And we have an amazing guest tonight, somebody that everybody loves to hear from, one of the newest members of the Medical Professional Board, Donnellyn Dominguez from Denton, Texas. Donnellyn is a midwife. In fact, excuse me, she has one of the largest facilities as far as birthing centers and one of the busiest, and she has been doing this for several years. Got introduced to Asea and is now basically retired, doing Asea full-time and birthing babies part-time. But what an amazing career she's had, and she's going to give us some background on how she got involved in this. Excuse me, y'all. And most of you probably know her on the Real Redox site. She's one of my favorites, number 13. I share it with everybody, but I would love for her to share a little bit more about her background, how she got introduced, what was her personal experience, and then kind of talk to us about her birthing experiences as well with Asea. So Donnellyn, take it away. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I am always so honored to be here. This is a fun thing to look forward to, and I'm always a nervous wreck, basket case, like I don't know who I am or what my story is. But I will tell you again, if you haven't heard, that I've been a midwife for 17 years almost now, and I practiced for 16 until December of last year. I sold my birth center last year and worked through the end of the year. But during that 10 years that I owned the birth center, I had a little challenge with my health, and it was not a positive thing. So I took every supplement on the planet, and I tried every module, every medical and non-medical route that was offered to feel better, and didn't feel better until I found redox signaling molecules. So Jim Glenn is actually responsible for finally chasing me down. If you haven't heard my story, it is number 13 on Real Redox Results. But he finally pestered me until I took this, and I'll forever be grateful for him for giving me my life back. And so just a few weeks into taking redox signaling molecules, all the issues that I had been dealing with began to go away. My energy was better. I felt like I was 15 years younger than I am. And that kind of keeps growing. Now I say 20 or 25. I mean, you know, I'm growing, I'm aging backwards, and I like that. So
you look fantastic too. In fact, if you don't mind my asking you, you're 50-20, isn't that correct? Didn't you just have a big birthday?
Yeah, I did have a big birthday, 50-20. That's a good way to put it.
I love it.
Yeah, we're all 50 something, right?
Leave it up to Maureen to come up with something unique.
I know, I'm about to be 50-12, and I'm hanging out there.
Amen.
I love it.
Let me interrupt for a second, because Jim pestered you until you got on it, but you did not know Jim. And I think this is really important for people who, you know, who talk about the way that we share this. Jim, maybe you want to tell this story, or Donnellyn, one of you, about how it came to be that Jim knew you, because you were from two different cities, had never met before, and yet this couple changed your life.
You know, that's the beauty of network marketing. They had a waiter in Dallas that they actually sponsored in the business, and he had a friend in Denton who was a nutritionist. And that friend became my nutritionist, and she tried her best to help me for over a year. And like I said, she gave me lots and lots of supplements. I was taking hands full with every meal. But nothing was really changing the way I felt. And she gave me redox signaling molecules. It's really kind of a funny story, but she was kind of on her way out of town. She handed me a bottle, told me it'd make me feel amazing. And I didn't feel good, and I was too busy, and my knee was bothering me really bad. And I was trying to avoid surgery at that point. So I was kind of preoccupied with me and the way I felt and what I had on my plate. And she handed me the bottle and said I'd feel amazing. And I took it home and took a drink and went, oh my gosh, she has duped me. I cannot believe Angela would do this. This is pool water. It tastes like a swimming pool, and I don't even know what it is, so I'm not going to drink it. And I was signed up to get a case and a tube of Renew 28 every month. And being in the state that I was, I could never remember to turn off auto ship, but I wasn't drinking this stuff. And she was gone. She was in the process of moving to another state. Jim kept calling me, but I thought, nope, no way, not going to do it. Not going to go to a meeting, not going to have a meeting. You're not going to fish in my pond. You're not going to sign up all my girls. You know, I just had a really bad attitude. I was awful. So I wouldn't answer the phone. And if I did, I just got off the phone as quick as I could. And those boxes just kept stacking up. And he kept calling, and I kept not answering. And he kept calling, and I kept not answering. So that went on for 7 months. But by then I had my knee got fixed. I got my knee fixed, but it wouldn't get well. And so that was very uncomfortable. And then all of the other issues I was dealing with, having to go to bed at 6 p.m. every night because I could not stay up any later than that. And it had been that way for 16 months. So he caught me at a very low, vulnerable place on December the 4th of 2017. And I had had the product in my possession for 7 months, but I didn't drink it. So when he called, he said, how are you doing? And 2 miracles happened that day. Number 1, I answered the phone. Number 2, I told him the truth because I'd never met this man. I didn't tell anybody about my personal stuff. So he asked how I was doing, and I said, I'm not doing well. And he said, are you drinking the Redox? I went, no, I'm not drinking that stuff. It tastes like a swimming pool. So long story short, he explained what it was. I began to drink it. I drank probably more than the recommended amount, but he said it was 100% non-toxic, and I believed him. And when he explained what it was, I knew it couldn't be toxic. So I went, if a little's good, more is better, and I drank more. And in 3 weeks, I stayed up till 11 o'clock at night by accident. And I've never been so happy in my life. I went to bed praying, God, please don't tease me. Don't let me get my hopes up and then be disappointed again because I can't stand it. I could not emotionally have taken that. But my energy level continued to be good, and I was thrilled. And in 2 more weeks, all the discomfort and all the discomfort and stiffness in that joint, in that knee, went completely away. And I trotted down the stairs like I was 15 years old. And then I went nuts. I was a believer, like over the top, the total opposite of the negative Nelly I had been when he chased me down for 7 months. I was like the biggest cheerleader on the planet. I grabbed everybody I saw and said, you've got to hear my miracle. And people could tell because I looked like I was not going to be here for long before I started it. And I felt like I wasn't. But then I started drinking and my energy came back and I was so happy and I had so much hope again, you know.
How much were you drinking, Donnellyn?
I started with 2 ounces twice a day and doubled it and doubled it and doubled it and doubled it. And I was probably at, I don't know, 28, maybe 32 ounces a day. By the time I had been on it for 3 weeks, I wasn't really counting. I was just drinking every time I thought about it. I drank some more, and it just, my body responded quickly. Now, I had been doing things for 16 months to try and get good results. I was eating an organic diet. I never touched sugar. I did a lot of right things, but my body didn't respond to any of them. I never felt better one day until then. And
Now, Donnellyn,
yes,
now you need to tell the rest of the story.
but
That yeah, what? Oh God, what is he going to say now? You were trying to prove me wrong.
I did.
So you drank. Come on,
That's
tell
what
the
I
rest of the
told him.
story.
Understand that. I would want to do that.
That's what I told him. I
Yeah.
said, I don't believe you. I told him, he said, if you drink this, it gives your body back the redox signaling molecules that are missing in your body, knows what to do. Your body will heal itself. And I said, well, that sounds too good to be true. So it probably is. And I don't believe you for a minute, but I'm desperate. So I'll drink it. I'll drink it just to prove you wrong. And that was my goal. I was going to show him that it wasn't going to work, just like everything else hadn't worked. But it did. Praise God, it did. And I've apologized to him a whole bunch of times. So don't feel sorry for Jim.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there are so many good lessons in here, from persistence and caring about people enough to keep calling back. And it sounds like you had done so many good things that when you finally took the product, it was like flipping a switch, kind of like Dr. Lee talks with his wife. Just amazing. So we're so blessed.
Well,
Exactly what it did.
And something else too, Donnellyn, share a little bit about December 31, a couple of weeks after that. You kind of felt like you had a setback, right?
I did. And I've had other people in my organization that did the same thing. Sometimes you just go through sort of I call it a healing crisis. I think our bodies just get better and better the longer we're on it. But on New Year's Eve, I began to have some issue with muscles, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's not working anymore. And I was just so sad and so depressed and really in a lot of discomfort. And Jim called to wish me Happy New Year. He's always calling. You know what kind of guy he is. Another good thing is, this is a good lesson to not hang up on people that are rude and ugly to you like I was, because you never know.
Donnellyn,
They
hey,
might
Don,
go
real
drive
quick. Hey guys, I do want to set the record straight. She was not that bad. You were not. You always beat yourself up a lot, but you were not
pretty
that.
bad. But anyway, he jumped on the phone with Jerry White, and Jerry called me and kind of talked me through some things to do to sort of break that discomfort cycle that was happening. And all of that went away, and I continued to get better, but it did scare me. I thought, oh my gosh, now it's not working. It may have been a form of rebalancing, because I was about 3 weeks in, and maybe it was just a rebalancing. I had a little bit of skin issues, but I knew my liver was very toxic from all of the chemicals and medication and things that I had taken over the last couple of years. So that one didn't bother me, but when my neck hurt, it did. So it was just interesting to watch the steps my body went through. But honestly, since then, it seems like that it has been sort of an upscale all the way. I have felt better and better, and been able to do more. It helps now that I'm not at the birth center all the time, and I actually get to sleep again. That may be part of it too.
Yeah.
Well, there's another lesson. There's another lesson here, Donnellyn, that often people overlook, and that is you. I don't know of too many people who are taking a full bottle, 32 ounces of Asea per day. For a reference point, it's always been kind of a standard 2 ounces twice a day or 4 ounces per day. And then people will say, well, but I don't think I feel anything, or it doesn't work, or, and I think it's because we have this pharmaceutical mindset where if I take a pill, I need to feel, a reaction to it, like a pain pill or pain narcotic or antidepressant or something. And then when that doesn't happen, as the cells are starting to work, then they think, well, it isn't working.
Exactly.
And I always tell everybody, no, it's working. It works 100% of the time. This is at the, it's a tiny molecules inside there. But you illustrate that really well. And for people that, you know, have this mindset or this challenge where they're not even sure if it's quote unquote working, again, we have to go back and check our expectations, right? And even that card that goes out in the box where you take your baseline and 30, 60, 90. I mean, the whole point of that is to like train you to look at the subtleties, but also, I mean, we also should be really upfront with people and say, well, then take more, double it again, double it again. You can always back down once you get through this initial crisis, this, you know, this recovery crisis, whatever you want to call it, the detox. And a lot of people will have that and they'll say, it's not working because I feel worse.
Right.
And I go, now this is the back door on this because it's working to make your cells start to dump now. They're detoxing and you just need to work through this or somehow acclimate to it. But that's our proof that it is working. And then we get into this free sailing zone where it's like you just said, it's like all of a sudden the world is much brighter.
Much brighter.
Yeah, Maureen, real quick, can you go ahead and just give the disclaimer, please? And then
We always
Lee,
forget
if you
to
don't
do that.
mind. Huh?
So we always forget to do that at the beginning.
I know.
You guys, this is not a medical product, even though we have medical professionals here sharing our experiences with you. These are molecules. It's a breakthrough technology that helps our cells to heal themselves. It's not meant to diagnose, cure, treat anything. It's not a drug. It's not under FDA review or approval. It is simply a bioreplenishment agent that boosts up the volume of these molecules, because as we age or as our body is under stress, we can have what seems like a deficiency of these molecules or an imbalance. So we're just bringing things back into balance so that our body can do what it's meant to do, what it knows how to do. That's it. Dr. Lee?
Very good. Yes, Lee, when I did have that little challenge, Jerry White said, you can back down, you know, you can take less. And being the patient person I am, I said, heck no, I'm drinking more. I want to get through with this. You know, let's get it over with. So, but that is exactly right. It's a sign, it's an indication that it is working and working well. And I wanted all that junk out of my body. And I'm so glad now that it is. So kind of another part of the story that turned into a blessing was I got such good results that I thought, what else do I have? I'm a midwife. I'm a professional. I'm licensed to take care of pregnant women. So I thought, what else do I have on my shelf that's 100% non-toxic? So I need to educate these girls about what this is and give them the option of helping their bodies work at 100%, you know, 100%. And so I put a piece about redox signaling molecules in my vitamin and supplement explanation that I taught everybody at between 12 and 16 weeks. They took a class, nutrition, exercise, water, and relaxation. And in the nutrition part, I would explain the supplements that I recommended, because as a professional, we recommend supplements. So I could do that and recommend to them that they check this out, and I did. And about 25%, I would say, of the girls that I took care of after I got amazing results myself said yes and started using the product. And
now, Donnellyn, it took a while though for you to get to that place of comfort of realizing that there is absolutely no toxicity, because I remember talking with you about that you were very concerned with your young mamas.
But you know, I was more concerned about what they would think. I was kind of like Lee. I did not like the network marketing piece, and I didn't want to be accused of trying to make money off of people. And that was the last thing on my mind. I just knew that we could get great results if we used it. for the ones who could and would. So it was sort of a growth period for me. I had to realize what a good thing this is, as opposed to the very negative thing that I had in my head about it before I found this company, because this is different. This friendship marketing that we do is so different from anything I'd ever been exposed to. And we know that usually the very best products on the market come across the board this way, in this model. But I wasn't ready to be associated with it. I had a job. I was busy. I didn't want another one. But so I just came at it from I wasn't trying to build a group. I did build a group, but I wasn't trying to build a group. But it wasn't from my prenatal clients that really the team built. It was from people seeing the difference in me. And when I would tell them what happened, they would say, wow, I want to feel as good as you do. And I'd say, okay, let's call Jim. And I'd hand him the phone, because I didn't have any time. Did I, Jim? Not for months.
No. But I remember Chris, your amazing husband, saying that if anybody asked how Donnellyn was doing, watch out, because she's going to tell you.
Yeah.
He said, don't ask, she'll throw up all over you.
Well, you added the rest.
That's awesome. You know, it reminds me of Dr. Kaufman from last week. I don't know if you heard his story, where, you know, he had such amazing response to the products that he couldn't help but tell his patients. And he said, you know, he'd be like, hey, I'm taking this stuff and I'm running faster. And he said they would be leaning in. They'd be like, I want some. And he was like, you do? You know, it's so funny when you share your story. And of course, the story is amazing. You know, people want, you know, I'll have what she's having. You know, that's awesome.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we got amazing results with the sweet girls that actually did decide to choose the Redox along with their other supplementation. And I felt very confident offering it to them and helped them understand what it was, so they felt confident taking it. Now I was their healthcare provider. I'm not anybody else's healthcare provider. So technically, if you are pregnant or have pregnant friends, I think this should be required for every pregnant girl on the planet. But you have to talk to your doctor about that, or your midwife, or whoever is responsible for your care, and teach them what it is, and then go with them in order for me to be compliant. You know, if it were up to me, I'd just say everybody across the board ought to be on that, and every pregnant girl ought to be on the biome and the fish oil, and, you know, all of the stuff. And then all the rest of us should certainly be on the source and the Life Max and the biome and the source, because the things that we have as far as ingredients and quality in these supplements is bar none. There's nothing better out there. And there's so much care taken in the way they're prepared and processed and sourced. You know, they got the name for a reason, that we're missing out if we're not taking advantage of our own vitamin line. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. And it synergetically works with redox signaling. So everything is bioavailability, you're absorbing, and so we know it's going to be safe. And I was thinking about your experience with the dosage. I mean, it's so neat that you can take, if you wanted to get there faster, your results, people can double up or take, like you did, quite a bit. And it's safe because it's non-toxic, and you can't say that in the nutrition world. You can't say, well, just pop some extras in. I mean, most of the things that are out there for the you know, the pregnant mamas is they only take the amount they're supposed to take. They're not going to be adding. And that's what's so neat about redox signaling. Our body receives it well, can't be allergic to it. It's safe enough to give to our own, you know, children or animals, all those cats, Maureen. So I think that's neat. And you mentioned about, you know, within 29, 30 days of when you were on the product and you had that experience with your neck. I I mean, these molecules are going after more than one thing, and sometimes they may be going after something really serious in the heart or lungs or brain, and maybe not thinking about that not so good feeling knee. And so, they chase down what's kind of vital, and you were probably crazy busy and Christmas, and your body was probably under a whole lot of stress. And I'm sure that's why it was maybe focused on something else.
So, Donnellyn, how do you explain these molecules to anybody today? How do you relay what this is?
Well, I think we've kind of touched on it already. The redox signaling molecules are part of our Krebs cycle. They are what our bodies create in each cell to tell the cells where to go to detect, protect, repair, or replace cells that are not functioning properly. They're what God put in our body to help our body know how to heal itself. But as we age and are under stress, and believe me, being a midwife is not the least stressful job out there. As we age and endure stress and toxins and pollutants and disease and medication, all of these things work against us, and we produce less and less redox signaling molecules, about 10% less per decade after puberty. So by the time I got sick, by the time I was not 100%, I was probably down 50, almost 60%, and in redox signaling molecules. So my body was kind of running low. And then Jim explained what those were, and that if I would drink it, that they had actually been able to recreate this miracle in a bottle. And Alan's explanations on discoverasea.com Thursday night, he does such a good job of telling us what these are, what they do, why they work, and how the whole process goes. And I always point people to that, but my explanation is pretty simple. We just make them in our body. We lose the number we have as we age. That's our biggest deterrent. And nobody gets out of aging. We're all going to age. I wish there was another choice, get old or die, or a third option. But, there's not a third option. So we need to take care of these bodies, because I don't mind getting older, but I want to feel good. I want to do things. I want to, I still think I can ski. I can't, but I thought I could in March. So
I do have to brag on you. When when we were in the wilds of Spokane, you were pretty amazing. You were hiking and kayaking and climbing up rocks and stuff to waterfalls, and absolutely amazing. You left me in the dust, and I think it's you were saying there's not a third option, but Donnellyn, there really is. I mean, we're getting older. Wow. But we're kind of not aging, where we're at least getting to be the best version of ourselves, right? I mean, we're works in progress, but look at you. From the time I first met you, you look fantastic. You look 20 years younger than when I first met you. You're just beautiful. Yeah. So
I'll give you 30 minutes to hush that up.
Hey, Lee, real quick. You're the author of the amazing Redox Matters book. Can you explain real quick why this is not an FDA product, and why it says it's a dietary supplement made from saline, made from salt and water? Can you briefly go over that, please? Because I know a lot of people always question, well, if this is so wonderful, why doesn't everybody already know about it? Could you respond to that, please, real quick?
I'd love to. Redox signaling molecules are a function of saltwater chemistry. I know there's some people that are critical of, it's just salt water. And it's like, well, your whole body is salt water. That's what normal saline is. When you go to the hospital and they put the IV in you, is normal saline. And so that's all the body has to work with. And this mitochondria that Donnellyn was talking about earlier, the mitochondria, in its process of creating energy, creates, we'll call them submolecules or atoms of it's kind of a fractionated saline. So you've got sodium and chloride and hydrogen and oxygen. And those molecules with a few others are all recombined into a variety of other, we call them species molecules. And their function is to be part of the process of moving electrons down very sophisticated energy gradients. I mean, that's a real fancy scientific talk of this is how the body works. If you reverse engineered the body at its smallest, tiniest cellular, subcellular level, it's biochemistry. It's the movement of electrons along molecules that creates our energy. And in that process, we create redox signaling molecules. Well, for many, many years, there's been many researchers, actually for decades, who understood this redox biology and this redox science well enough. And they found ways that they could actually create redox molecules in electrolysis chambers. We've been doing this since the beginning of the 1800s. That's how they made hydrogen, and that's how they make oxygen in the commercial industry. Well, when this all came along, they thought, well, if we could do this and mimic or create bioidentical redox molecules, the very same ones that our immune system uses to kill bacteria inside the cell, if we could do that, we'd have a drug. And so they set about for a long time to do the safety trials and get the FDA clearances so that this could be a drug. And as the story goes, which you can at least hit the high parts of the story by watching a nice video at amazingmolecules.com. It's the Genesis video there. Look that up. That tells you there's the backstory here. But they failed in their efforts to be a drug because they were not able to kill any animals in the lab. And that's one of the requirements of a drug, is that you have to increase the dosage until 50% of the specimen die. That's called the lethal dose 50. Well, they didn't, because this has no toxic response in the cell. There is no inflammatory response. And for those health professionals, what that means is that's a nuclear factor kappa beta transcription factor. That's why this is safe, is because it does not activate that inflammatory pathway.
Good to know.
Yeah, you got to know that in a trivia party, right? And so, but that's the reason. And so what they did then is they said, well, this isn't going to go there, because they couldn't get the clearance. And so they flipped it to the FDA's supplement side, which means that we can now not make medical claims. We can't talk about diseases, which is why sometimes these conversations sound a little bit in code. You know, it's like we're convoluted and we can't really spit out what we just love to be able to say, but this is the reason. And so what we do is we now share stories, because we can talk about the mechanisms of action. We can talk about the effects in a personal way with people. And so that's how this is now being marketed, rather than through pharmaceutical companies, which was their original aim, is we now share this word of mouth and talk to people about how these very sophisticated molecules work at the ground level of making us feel better.
Wow. Awesome. I love it the way you do that. Now,
Don't grade us.
Donnellyn, you started sharing this with people that you know, love, and care about. And what kind of results were you getting? I know you did a little bit of a study on your own. Can you share a little bit about how that went with people that were under your direct medical care?
Yes. Like I said, about 25% after I started educating my clients on redox, about 25% chose to drink the redox signaling molecules and use the gel. And their results were absolutely amazing. And, you know, I can't go back and do their birth without them drinking it. So I have absolutely no proof that the redox signaling molecules made a difference. I could never prove that in a court of law. But I can tell you that 25%, that group, had shorter labors. They had less lacerations. They had this is probably non-compliant too. They had so much healthier pregnancies. Pregnancy is a normal condition. You're not sick when you're pregnant, okay?
No.
And you know, sometimes the medical field kind of seems to go at you like you're sick and want to throw a lot of things at you. But if you leave a pregnant woman alone and feed her well and have her drink lots of water and get the nutrients that she needs, babies grow and women give birth. That's what we were created and designed to do. But we had the most amazing pregnancies and births for that healthy group of women that were drinking Redox. It was far and above the results of the other moms. Probably the one thing that has nothing to do with medical is the length of labor. And even though the group, the 25%, there were first-time moms in that group, and our average length of labor was about 7 hours. And in the other group, there were more than 25 people. It was, more like 75% of the ones that I compared to. So it was a larger group, but I thought that would make it more interesting to see if I gave them more, maybe their stats would be better. But actually their average was 18 to 24 hours labor.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Big difference.
Can you also, Donnellyn, speak to the placentas?
Yes. Placentas were, midwives love placentas. It's kind of a gross thing to everybody else. But they're the most interesting organ. They're the only organ God created to throw away after you're through with it. They were designed for a specific purpose and a specific time. And when they're healthy, they're very integral. So I can put my hands underneath it. It's kind of like the shape of a big pancake, and it's got little round cotyledons on one side, and that's what goes up against the uterine wall. And the mother's nutrition and oxygen comes through the uterine wall to those cotyledons and feed the baby the nutrition and oxygen it needs, which it gets through the umbilical cord without ever mixing mama's blood and baby's blood. Now, if that's not a miracle in and of itself, I don't know what is. But when they're healthy, I can come up underneath them and kind of raise, the middle, and it's all very integral. It stays together. It looks healthy. It's, if you need something to compare to, maybe a piece of really nice grass-fed liver, might be a comparison. But it's very healthy. When they're not healthy, they fall apart, and it looks more like I've got a pile of hamburger meat. So to give you a little bit of a comparison, so the ones and the color is so rich and it's almost maroon, very, very healthy. And so we could always tell. We'd go, yep, another Asea baby. Yep, another Asea baby. It was amazing, the difference.
That is
Yeah, I
amazing.
agree with that.
Now,
Yeah.
can you guys, Maureen, you and Donnellyn, talk about the nutrition angle? Why is nutrition so important? But more to why is what we have, the nutrition today, outside of supplementing it, why is it so depleted?
Sure. And I'll let Donnellyn speak about what nutrition is specifically needed for pregnancy, because there are some things in particular the pregnant women need. But in general, I'll tell you, when our nutrition came out, and what we have found, and I've always said this, the more good things you can do for your body, the better bang for your buck you're going to get from your Redox molecules. Dr. Lee talks about being the 5 pillars of health, right? So we know, along with Redox, you have to have good sleep, hydration, exercise, supplementation. There's a 5th one, Dr. Lee, if you can think of it.
Infection, oral and gut infection.
Oral, brush those teeth and your gut. So don't brush your gut, just take care of your gut. So anyway, when these came out, these were meant to work in combination with the Redox, because most people understand that they need to supplement. Our soil is depleted. It's not, our vegetables that we grow these days are not the same ones that our grandparents were growing and living off of. Plus, we're dealing with Roundup and all sorts of other herbicides and things. So our food is not, and we have the GMOs, right? So our food is plastic and it's covered with toxins and it's depleted of nutrients. So you really do have to supplement. And I am a supplement snob. I love to take supplements. I love to research them and look at them. So when Asea said they were coming out with them, I honestly thought that they were meant for the gummy bear crowd who gets theirs at the big box places, you know, or the discount stores. And, you know, just really kind of discounted them until I learned about them. These are extremely well thought out, formulated products that are extremely high quality and high impact. I mean, like Donnellyn alluded to earlier, they go to great lengths to source. Our source is our multivitamin. It's a whole food supplement. And what that means is that you're getting all of the minerals and the nutrients and the cofactors. Like if you were eating an apple, it's not just got one thing from it. It's not like you're taking the vitamin C from an orange. You're getting everything that orange has. And it's got micro and macronutrients. It's got all your vitamins. It's got marine proteins in it, like chlorella, spirulina, kelp. It's got superfoods in it, like acai berry, wheatgrass, barley grass, goji berry, all sorts of different things. Plus it's partially fermented, which means your body is able to assimilate it. It's able to absorb it and take it in. And it's got enzymes that actually further that process along. And, you know, like the different marine products, they go to like the waters of Iceland to get them. They've gone to great lengths to get the best possible ingredients to put in this. That's just our whole food. Then Donnellyn was talking about, and if you want to talk a little bit about the omegas and the biome, Donnellyn, and why those are so important for your pregnant girls. And then I'll talk about my favorite, which is taking it to the max, life back. So Donnellyn, you take it and I'll wrap it up.
Okay. One of the things that impresses me about this vitamin line is that they have it's like a seal called a GMP. It's a good manufacturing process that they can say they go to great lengths to make sure that the process of putting these vitamins together is above and beyond anyone else. It's over the top. And 98% of what they say is in that vitamin on the label is actually there. And so we can be assured that we have the very best quality. If you go buy your vitamins in the store, you'll probably get something that's about 60% of what it says on the label in the actual vitamin. So it's a big waste. And as far as the biome, I put all of my girls on probiotics anyway during pregnancy, because, you know, we've all heard that the gut is our second brain. And that's one of the things that even the paperwork from the company talks about, that it's not just gut health in and of itself, but also many systems of the body, including natural inflammation response and mental and emotional health, depends on how healthy our gut is. There's a flora that needs to be there. And when bad bacteria overtakes that, we're not healthy. So this helps the immune system so much to have your gut healthy. And so when Biome came out and I realized what I had, it was the one that went on my shelf. And so they were taking probiotic anyway. So now we have a prebiotic that prepares the gut and a probiotic with 16 different, what are they? 16 different full spectrum, 16 probiotic strains. That's what it is. 16 probiotic strains in it. And there can be too many As I've studied this, there can be too many for it to be helpful, but this is a perfect balance of the prebiotic and probiotic to help their gut work properly. And that's very important in pregnancy because whatever is in their gut actually travels around to the area that the baby is going to be delivered from. And that needs to be healthy. And it's important for the baby to come through that healthy biome because that helps the baby establish its immunity in the first year of life. So some very interesting stuff about the biome, but it was my very favorite. And it's my favorite for me. I can honestly say that I've never taken supplements that I felt any different with until I got to these supplements. The Redox first, and it blew me away. But then when these come out, we don't do without our supplements, especially the biome. It's probably my favorite, maybe it in the Life Max. I don't know. I love them all. And then the omegas, we always recommend omegas for pregnant women. They're good for all of us, but that helps develop a healthy heart and a healthy brain. And if mommy's system has good nutrients, baby gets them. That's just the way birth works and pregnancy. So this has a great balance of omega-3 and omega-6. Many of us get plenty of omega-6 and maybe too many because we get them from saturated fats and other kind of fats and carbs and so on and so forth, but not enough threes. And this omega not only has them both, but it's formulated for cardiovascular and brain health. And it's got so many interesting things about it. It comes from the freshest fish. It is actually processed on the boat or immediately on shore. So it's never going to be rancid. If you have a burnt fish oil, you've got a fish oil that's rancid and you need to throw it away. It is no good. That never happens with this one. So they're from wild caught. It's natural. They're not just simulated. And, you know, so many vitamins are made from, I don't want to say fake, but it's kind of fake ingredients. They're not real thing. Sort of like folic acid is not from natural products. It's a synthetic vitamin. And it doesn't work the same. If you have folate, then even moms that have a chromosome challenge can take it and assimilate it. And all of ours are so 100% natural, and not just natural, but the very best ingredients. So they're very, very impressive. What did I write here that I wanted to tell you? Yeah, B complex that's in our source, and Maureen can tell you more about this, but B complex is one of the things they put in our source. And it's so important to have Bs in a complex because they work best together. And they have a whole line of vegetables and fruits that they assimilate to put our B complex together. And that's part of why it can actually help you. My husband used to bring me B complex when I was climbing the wall for whatever reason and acting like an idiot. And he'd say, would you like some B complex? Because it truly does coat your nerves and settle you down. And we've got it in our source. So it's just so amazing what they have provided for us. But those two I recommend for my pregnant girls. I can't recommend them for you, but you could take them to your doctor and say, do these look like good vitamins? Because they'll have to say, yes, they are. They're the best.
And, you know, and I love it. And a couple of things that you brought up, and I would love for Anne to give her expertise since she is the nutritionist with us. But, you know, the wild caught, why it's so important to get your omegas from wild caught fish, it's because of what they eat. A lot of omegas are sourced from farmed fish, and they don't have the same diet. They're not getting the same nutrition, and therefore the omegas are not going to be as powerful as the ones in our products. So that's huge. So, and you could probably speak to the B complex much more, with much more expertise than I can. So thank you.
Yeah, I know our time is limited, and we do have some really good material about our VIA line. We also have a great short 4-minute video. And you made some great points as far as, the biome having the slippery elm. Of course, LifeMax, you said you love. It has the cordyceps mushrooms. It has basilica. So does the biome. And if you try to price each item individually out into, like source, you would be spending about $17.50 a day to get the things you needed, which is what I used to do over, prior to Asea, over at a Trader Joe's or a Nature's Grocers where I shop. It would cost you a lot. And then you'd have the complicated, all these things that you had to put together. And it's all there in those 4 capsules. It's in a rice capsule. So you can really, really break open your nutrients. They're all right there inside that capsule if you wanted to mix it into a smoothie. So just the fact that for, $50 or so a month, less if you were to get it in a package, but the amount of money that we spend on our nutritionals is a whole lot less than if you had to try to source all these items out. And as far as the omega, I can't say enough. Any cardiologist would recommend you be on our omega. And like she said, how it's sourced and how the doctor that oversees it, all that was involved in getting out that awful burpy taste. And somebody without a gallbladder should definitely have more omega. And so, yeah, I can't say enough about our line. I can tell you, Ann Louise Gittleman, she endorses our line. You can look up her, her input on it. She's got stuff all over Healthy Self about it. Carolyn Hoffman, Dr. Hoffman, she's got a great blog about enzymes, and how important enzymes are to your digestion. And so you can look up some really good points that she makes about our line and what makes it so different than anything else that's out there. And because it's married with Redox, I mean, you've got a whole cellular health company.
Now,
Can't say enough.
Maureen, can you?
I do want to get to LifeMax though, you guys.
Yeah.
Do that.
You know what, you guys, if you're not taking advantage of LifeMax, please, by all means, get on it. It addresses so many incredible things. Like Donnellyn said earlier, we're all getting older every day, but we don't want to age. There are diseases that are attributed to aging, right? But what it really is that there's imbalances and deficiencies. We are meant to live full lives until we wear ourselves out and we depart this earth. The ingredients that have been put into LifeMax address those things that complicate our lives as we get older. Things like our vision health, mentation, cognition, cell division, things that we were alluding to a little bit earlier, things with our cardiovascular health, our gut health, our metabolism, our blood sugar levels, also anti-aging and inflammation. There are miraculous things in here like grape seed extract, broccoli seed extract, turmeric, which everybody is familiar with, is huge for anti-inflammation, ALA. There's also, bilberry for our eyes. Our eyes they benefit from both the bilberry and the grape seed. There's things are crossing over here. And mentioned the cordyceps. There's 5 different what we call medicinal mushrooms that are used in Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine. 5 different ones that have to do with everything from cell division to mood to mentation, cognition, memory. Unbelievable. And then it's got a couple of things in there for energy and also for looking better. Things that support the collagen in our skin and hyaluronic acid. People are spending a fortune for these things. And we have supplements, including pomegranate and French cantaloupe, which is full of SOD, and something called Cola Gotu, which help with our skin. So not only are our bodies benefiting from all of this and having, a healthier response and anti-aging, but our skin is going to get a benefit from it too. So take a look at that. There's information pages on all of these supplements in your back office, in the library. You can download them. You can look at everything, look at every ingredient and see what they've taken the time to put into it. This one is, they're all supercharged. If you look at the source, if you look at the biome, the omegas, they have gone above and beyond what you would expect to find in a supplement. And, you know, every single one of you, if you're investing in your health and you're getting on the Redox, by all means, get on our nutritional products. It'll blow you away. And you know what? I think you will find that you will crave less food. So it's really going to be an offset there. So you're going to be getting really, really good nutrition. So
It's true. And they're only 10 calories per each vitamin. So it's like, you know, you're hardly even for the amount of food. I mean, there's no way you could eat all of that on a plate. And here you have it in 10 calories a capsule.
Now,
It's like,
I'm going to throw up, not throw up,
Yeah.
sorry. Wrong word. I'm going to throw out my opinion. I'm a farm boy. Okay. I was raised up in Ohio on a horse farm. And I grew up eating the things that you eat on a farm. Now, you guys are all the experts on what to eat. That is like way over my head. But you know what? I feel so blessed that Asea brought these out because I finally now know and truly believe that my body is getting everything it needs to keep me well with Redox. Redox is the base of the health triangle. But now I know, and I'm trying to improve my diet. I'm not eating like a farm boy anymore. Well, maybe a little bit, but I know my body's getting what it needs because we take all the supplements. It's so easy to do. Lee, do you have any opinion on the nutraceuticals real quick in about 2 minutes?
No, they work. And I think to close this out, you know, we've been talking about aging. We've been talking about looking younger and so forth. There's a concept called health span. We talk about lifespan all the time, like how long am I going to live? That's really the wrong question, but that's the only one that modern medicine seems to focus on, or the pharmaceutical side seems to focus on. And it's because we can start dying at 40, if you will, and we get propped up and we get new parts and we get new drugs because those are medical interventions that keep us alive until our demise at age 79 or so forth. So there's a difference between health span and lifespan, and everything we've been talking about with that redox base foundation and all the nutraceuticals and phytochemicals that help to keep our cells going and repaired. Those are all about propping up our health such that we don't need interventions. That's the whole point. Interventions they're like a smoke alarm that goes off. And what we do is we tend to take a drug to put the smoke alarm out that was trying to tell us something. That's the symptom. And so we're trying to do symptom suppression and control, thinking that that's health. And just the one parting shot here that I'll leave everybody with is that health is more than the absence of symptoms.
exactly.
Say that again, Lee. That was powerful.
Health. I mean, we talk about health and healthcare, but health, really, wellness, is more than the absence of symptoms. I can control symptoms with drugs, but that's not health.
No, that's exactly right.
Wow. Well, guys,
It was a real treat, Donnellyn.
this was a blast.
Thanks, y'all.
We're going to have an exciting meeting, Asea 5+++ next Friday, because all of us are going to be in Nashville. And so Friday evening at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we will be live. And I don't know where, but I know we'll be in Nashville. We'll be at Opryland having our annual conference in Nashville, Tennessee. So we'll all be kind of somewhere there. So I really pray you come and join us next Friday. And then we'll be back into the normal routine after that. Yeah. So any parting words, Miss Maureen?
Who's our guest the week after?
The week after we have Beth Wolford and Marty Morin.
That should be fun.
Oh, I love those two. Yeah. Hey, Donnellyn, thank you so much for coming on. It is such a pleasure to hear your story and hear your experiences. And it's such an important topic for so many people. And thank you all. And every Friday, we love sharing with you.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
guys, and stick around for the Aussies.
Bye,
They'll be
everybody.
right here as soon as we swap over the control. So thank you guys. God bless. We love you all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank
And come
you.
up and
Good
let us
night.
know. We're looking forward to meeting everybody in Nashville.
See you Wednesday.
Yes.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Happy Labor Day weekend.
Yes.